Doc paid him his 50 cents and yelled after him as he ran out the back door, "Be careful, son, don't hit your head on the diving board." Doc heard a faint "Yes, sir," as Bobby ran as fast as he could down the block, heading for home. Neighbor Dorothy had just told her radio listeners that unlike other prune juices on the market, Sunsweet prune juice was guaranteed by Good Housekeeping to have the same laxative potency in every glassful when he came flying through the screen door, slamming it behind him, wham, on the way to his room. Neighbor Dorothy informed her listeners, as you might have guessed, that was Bobby, and went on to announce that a Mrs. Aileen Staggers of Arden, Oklahoma, was interested in locating a recipe for old-fashioned strawberry and rhubarb pie. So if you have a good one, send it on in. At that moment Bobby came crashing down the hall, carrying his bathing suit in one hand. But before he hit the front door, his mother said, "Hold it, young man," and stopped him in his tracks. "Since you are making so much racket, why don't you come in here and tell everybody where it is you were going in such a hurry?"
This book is continued on Disc 4.
"Since you are making so much racket, why don't you come in here and tell everybody where it is you were going in such a hurry?" Bobby poked his head in the room and shouted, "Cascade Plunge opens today." Neighbor Dorothy said, "Oh, I see. Well, everybody, I guess we can say that summer is officially here. Bobby has just informed me that the pool is open." Mother Smith hit a few happy chords of "By the sea, by the sea, by the beautiful sea," while Bobby stood there chomping at the bit to be released. His mother said, "Well, go on, but for heaven's sake, don't hit your head on the diving board." Everybody at home heard a faint voice disappearing into the background saying, "Okay," and the slam of the door. Bobby knew the shortcut to everywhere in town through the back alleys and was at the pool in 2 minutes flat. As he had whizzed by their houses, the ladies listening to Neighbor Dorothy heard all about the saga of how last year he had been showing off for some girl and had cracked his head on the diving board and had knocked himself out cold and had to have 3 stitches. Most people would have learned their lesson and not gone near the pool, but not him. Bobby loved the water. His mother did not know it, but he had already been swimming out at the Blue Devil several times. That was fun, but not like Cascade Plunge. To him there was something wonderful about the certain smell of chlorine on hot, wet cement, and swimming underwater in that clear aqua pool water streaked with wavy strips of white sunlight. Something about the quiet under there, the whole world above, muffled and far away. And then, too, there were girls at the pool. He wanted to show off for a girl in his class, not the same one he liked last year, a new one. She was a tap dancer, and when Bobby, who Dorothy had to practically drag to the Dixie Cahill dance recital, saw her solo to Tiptoe Through the Tulips with Me, he thought she was as cute as a pair of new yellow shoes. Bobby ran up to the big cement building with blue sky and white clouds painted over the sign that said Cascade Plunge, and dug in his jeans for a dime and got his locker key and ran on in, practically pulling all his clothes off before he reached the men's changing room. He was in such a hurry that he almost tripped on his bright orange swim trunks. He quickly locked his locker and ran out from the shadowy dressing area into the shining white sunlight. There it was. At last he had reached that oasis of shimmering, crystal-clear water he had been dreaming about all winter, and the sight of it almost took his breath away. It looked like a big lake, sparkling like 1,000 diamonds in the sun, surrounded by a sea of hot, white concrete. Oh, it was all too much! He was far too excited to wait another minute, and he ran and flung himself into the pool. He swam under water for a while and came up right beside Monroe, and they immediately began to splash water at each other while all the girls around them who didn't want to get their hair wet screamed. Let the fun begin. At about 4:30 that afternoon, when Bobby had not come home yet, Dorothy said to Anna Lee, who was in her bedroom with Patsy Marie working on their movie star scrapbooks, "Anna Lee, I'm worried about Bobby. He's been down at that pool 6 hours. Would you and Patsy Marie take a walk over there and tell him to come home? He's had enough for one day." Anna Lee groaned as if her mother had just told her that she had to build an Egyptian pyramid by hand. Oh, Mother, do I have to? Yes, I'm worried he might have cracked his head again.